Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, September 13th, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. A geomagnetic storm watch has been issued for the high latitudes as an increased solar wind stream is hitting Earth. And we have a close eye on Hurricane Lee as it barrels towards Maine. It's insane. Keep calm. It's boom time. Severe storms wreak havoc on already rain-soaked Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and more rain is in the forecast as Lee is headed towards the northeast. In fact, Hurricane Lee forecast track now includes Boston and everything to the east. Yes, like a beast, Lee is pushing its way. Hurricane Lee puts Florida beaches on high alert for rip currents in the next 48 hours. And here is the current cone of depression. This is where the highest probability and the likelihood of Lee's position. It is tracking exactly where we said 24 hours ago, just about 50 miles east now of the entrance of the Bay of Fundy, which is pushing it closer to a landfall on Maine. Luckily, this is an unpopulated portion of Maine, but there are homes up in New Brunswick and small towns that could be greatly affected by this storm. Let's take a look at the spaghetti models to get a closer look of where they are today. So the majority of everything lining up for the Bay of Fundy. The tidal range in the Bay of Fundy is so insane that even a tropical storm or a Cat 1 hurricane could wreak havoc in this region with extreme tides. So we want to keep a close eye on this as the spaghetti models are all honing in on Nova Scotia and New Brunswick to bear the brunt of the storm. Now, Hurricane Lee is currently a strong Cat 2 with sustained winds at 105 miles per hour. It is headed towards eastern Maine, and here is the key message for Lee. Tropical storm conditions, heavy rainfall, and high surf are expected to impact Bermuda beginning early Thursday, and a tropical storm warning is in effect for the island. Hurricane conditions, heavy rainfall, and coastal flooding are possible in portions of eastern Maine on Saturday. Yes, it's insane, and a hurricane watch has been issued for that area. There is potential for life-threatening storm surge flooding in portions of southeastern Massachusetts, including Cape Cod and Nantucket, late Friday and into Saturday, where a storm surge watch has been issued. Tropical storm conditions are possible over a large portion of coastal New England, including Cape Cod, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and Block Island, where a tropical storm watch has been issued. Now, there are islands off the coast here, and they are going to literally be battered. Holy macaroni. So stay tuned for more updates as we continue. Flood death toll in eastern Libya reaches 5,300 with many more missing. And that is an ongoing story that we're going to get to in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the forecast for the eastern U.S. Risk of wind, coastal flooding, and heavy rain impacts increasing for portions of New England as we enter the weekend, especially beginning Friday. So take heed. There's only 48 hours left. Hurricane Lee will approach the coast of New England late this week. Dangerous surf and life-threatening rip currents will affect Puerto Rico and most of the East U.S. coast through much of the week. There is an increasing risk of wind, coastal flooding, and rain impacts from Lee and portions of New England beginning Friday and continuing through the weekend. So take heed, because we know what flooding does. It kills you. In fact, the death toll in eastern Libya has now reached 5,300. I'm sure it's higher now, with many more missing, 13,000 injured and 7,000 injured, and still 9,000 people believed missing, which could bring the death toll far beyond 10,000 in just a few days. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to all those in Libya that were completely decimated. Let's take a look.
5,000 people are dead, with more than 10,000 others feared missing, and at least 30,000 people have been displaced by the floods. Joining me now is Jan Friede. He's the head of the Libyan delegation for the International Committee of the Red Crescent. Jan is on the phone with me right now. Thank you so much for joining us, Jan.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
We've seen those heart-wrenching images after these floods and how it's devastated entire communities. What are you and your people seeing on the ground in terms of the devastation there?
Yeah, I think this is a very devastating situation that our colleagues have seen in the field. You can imagine the destruction that hit the city of Derna and other cities along the coastline. The floods destroyed the entire building, and the building was wet out to the sea. And there was a complete destruction of some neighborhoods of Derna, where the complete building was erased, and the families that were living there.
Absolutely devastating. Take a look at these photos.
So it's a human tragedy
I really can't tell what he's saying, but you can see that they're still struggling. There are still rescues ongoing. The potential for 14,000 deaths and up to 10,000 still missing is completely insane. So please, if you have a moment, shoot a prayer up to the Creator for the people in Libya, with still, according to the authorities, at least 9,000 people are believed to be missing, 7,000 injured, and 5,300 dead. And we just saw some of that footage. Absolutely devastating. South Africa endures record-breaking polar blast. September's snow clips Colorado peaks a little late, but much needed. And Argentina receives 3.3 feet of snow in 24 hours. Hello. Let's take a look at some of this data here. The South African Weather Service has issued snowfall warnings across many regions, namely for dangerous road conditions. Snow has been reported in the Northern Cape, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu National Mountain Ranges. So heads up. You can see how cold it is there. This is the temperature anomaly showing up to 20 degrees below normal for South Africa. So heads up. Now, Antarctic ice is recovering quite spectacularly while the media is silent. They're claiming that this low ice level means the end of the world, which is pretty typical of their reporting. Seismic update. Some quakes of note, all in the mid-ocean ridges. It appears as if the Earth continues to grow. 5.1 in Svalbard. Huge activity down here in the western Chile rise at 6.1. And we're keeping a close eye on the Earth as we may be expanding. Health officials warn fog has returned during the latest eruption of Kilauea. And Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is now spewing lava fountains as a lake of molten rock lights up the night. And it is fantastic, folks, albeit a little bit of fog. Now, this is a very dangerous situation. This type of smog, called fog, has volcanic glass inside of it, so you don't want to be breathing it. Masks are necessary in many of the areas where the fog will be heavy. These tiny, they're called acicular. They're almost like minuscule swords, get inhaled into your lungs, and they stick into the lung membranes. Now, a lot of this fog includes siliceous gas, which can cause mesothelioma and other types of cancers. So just take warning, and if you're in the area of fog, stay inside and be safe. Worldwide volcano news update. Pretty normal activity worldwide. Sangay, Liwotolo, Sabancaya, and many others. Sabancaya to 25,000 feet today. Sangay to 24,000. Liwotolo, 8,000 foot puff. We've also got Sakotajima to 7,000. Popo, again. Nevado de Ruiz, 21,000 feet today. My own puffing and passing as well. And Ibu, 7,000 foot eruption. Dukono to 7,000 feet. And Yasur, take a look at this explosion. Heavy ash emissions followed intense explosions yesterday. And that wraps up worldwide volcano news. Space weather news update. Although geomagnetic storm is not currently in the forecast, an enhanced solar wind stream due to coronal holes could provide additional displays of aurora around the polar regions in the next 24 hours. This alert coming out just a few hours ago, so look up. And below, we'll see a nice aurora photo shared by Chris Thomas from Lidnesen in the south of Norway. It was captured a few nights ago during the geomagnetic storm. Beautiful. But that would just happen to be last night. So I don't know what they're talking about. But we are looking for increased solar wind. And in fact, we have it. Let's refresh this. You can see, yeah, the BZ is starting to shift quite rapidly. We have some density shifts and definitely something happening with the temperature and the speed. So this could be the onset of the event that may bring us some more aurora in the future. It is lighting up a little bit. So make sure if you're up in the next few hours to get out and look up. And that's a boom. Mathematicians solve 50-year-old Moiba Strip puzzle. This fascinated me as a youth. It was one of the reasons I became a scientist. And ever since I was about 8 years old, I was fascinated by the Moiba Strip. Did you know if you cut it down the center after you make it, you can create, well, anyway, try it yourself and blow your mind. Now, the biggest thing I was fascinated on was how small is the smallest Moiba Strip that can exist. And the 1858 discovery of the Moiba bands is credited to two German mathematicians, August Ferdinand Moibius and Johann Benedict Listing. Although evidence suggests that mathematical giant Carl Friedrich Gauss was also aware of the shape at this time, it's all controversial because you know what history is about. History is about the conqueror and the winner, not about the truth. But I do digress. A trapezoid was the key to discovering the elusive answer to a riddle about the Moiba Strip. All links will be linked below so you can dive deeper. You want to dive deeper? The fraud is in plain sight. A 1,000-year-old alien corpse is displayed in Mexico, and it is completely not believable.
I'm proud and honored that more than 10,000 people have joined in our mission at safeaerospace.com.
The event was led by Mexican journalist and ufologist Jamie Mawson, who has been investigating the extraterrestrial phenomenon for decades. And
look at this thing.
Mexican scientists.
That is not
Organizers
a mummy.
claim that the small mummified specimen were 1,000 years old and had been allegedly retrieved from Cusco, Peru.
Allegedly.
Primera vez que se presenta de tal forma y creo que hay una demostración clara de que nos encontramos ante ejemplares no humanos que no tienen relación con ninguna otra especie en nuestro mundo y que se encuentran abiertas todas las posibilidades para que cualquier institución científica los pueda investigar.
Recognizing the need for action and answers, I founded Americans for Safe Aerospace. We believe that UAP represent an urgent priority.
Let me translate. This is not real. This is an absolute hoax. It's part of a governmental disinformation panel. This is actually being presented before Congress. I feel embarrassed. What say you? Leave a comment below. All links will be below so you can look at the alien corpses on display just about 10 hours ago in Mexico. Inflation accelerated in August as oil prices surged. Yeah, there's the recovery of Bidenomics, and it's going back up, baby, straight up towards recession. Everything is falling. MMM, AAL, yeah. Inflation is going to continue to rise through the fall towards the holidays, and people are going to get priced out of Christmas. Now, do you have SpaceX Starlink? Yes. The Starlink network issue last night at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time was just when we were uploading the video. I had to wait over an hour. It was the longest shortage in my internet in years. And I think this has everything to do with Elon's decision to not murder thousands of people in Russia. Good on him. Elon Musk owns private corporations. They have nothing to do with the government. The government cannot compel a private citizen or corporation to murder people in an act of war. That's insane. This administration in the United States is so corrupt, it needs to end immediately, or things will get worse. And thank God there are people like Elon Musk with the cojones to stick up to the cabal. And I think they fought back. And last night, this outage had to do with some type of cyber attack from the deep state to put Elon in his place. Now, the good news is within less than an hour, his engineers figured out the attack, and Starlink was back online in less than an hour worldwide. Now, we're about to head out to the Crestone Energy Fair for the biggest annual event we do every year. And I'm going to be doing a talk Saturday, one of the most important talks of the entire event, which is on cutting-edge composting technologies that can revitalize the soils across the world. The soils have been depleted for 100+ years, and we need to bring back the terra preta that the Maya and other ancients knew was important for sustainability and abundance. And that comes from a particular type of compost that you can make in a Johnson Sioux bioreactor. Now, this is not your typical compost. This is way different. Most static pile compost that you turn, that everyone knows about, are bacterially enriched, which is not the good stuff. You want the fungi. This type of aerated composting system, which is amazing. I'm going to be discussing all the secrets and the benefits at the event, which will be live streamed, so you're not going to miss anything. But please, I implore you, if you're nearby, join us at the Crestone Energy Fair to reimagine self, village, and nature, and maybe learn how to survive and thrive in a hectic time that's coming. There's still time to volunteer, donate, become a vendor, set up for free. Just show up and we will work with you. We love you. And that is a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And we'll see you all in Crestone in just a few days.